beyond these woods, Mary Margaret? Do you think that we will go there? We'll see what makes it shine, Mary Margaret. It's almost morning and we've talked all night. Though we made big plans for 10-year-olds, you and I. If you met my new boyfriend, Margaret, his name is John, and he rides my bus to school, and he holds my hand. He's 14, he's my older man. We'll still be the best of friends, the three of us, Margaret, John, and I. Let's go to New York City, Margaret. We'll hide out in the subways. We'll drink the poet's wine. Oh, but I had John. So you and I stayed behind. But you were home in time for the senior prom. We lost John. And the fantasies we planned, well, I'm living out now. All the dreams we sang when we knew how, well, they haven't changed. There'll never be two friends like you and me, Mary Margaret. Nice to see family growing, Margaret. Your daughter and your husband here, they really treat you right, but we've talked all night. What about those nights? You glowed beyond these woods when we were 10. You were the rambler then. Fantasies we planned, oh Maggie, I'm living out now. All the dreams we sang when we knew how, well, they'll never change. And there'll never be two friends like you and me, Maggie, can't you see? There's a light beyond your woods, Mary Margaret. Well, I'm on the diving board at my high school, and before my high school turned co-ed, the nuns would come out and swim with us in this swimming pool, which is now no longer functional, but it was great to see them out in these weird black bathing suits with the little skirts on them and black bathing caps, and the only fashion statement that they made at all was they all wore peculiar sunglasses, and they would have wingtip sunglasses with rhinestones and the little wraparound sunglasses with the slash of shade in the middle, and very spectacular sunglasses. It was great to see them be human and be fun and know that they had senses of humor, because they were always such very intense human beings. Well, musically in Austin during the late 60s, It was a great acoustic music scene. Jerry Jeff Walker, Michael Martin Murphy, Carolyn Hester would come back to town and play quite a bit. It was just a great scene of writers. Guy Clark, Townes Van Zandt. And as a young girl, I was very fortunate to have parents who would take me to hear them, because they all played in bars where you couldn't be if you were under 21, unless you were accompanied by your parents. And my parents were great at taking me around to hear the music that I wanted to hear. My dad was a big fan of folk music anyway, so we just kind of palled around together to go hear people play. There was great joy in our household when I was a child, with my parents being beatniks and hanging around with people who were somewhat eclectic and played weird instruments, came to the house, played music, had hoot nannies. I feel very fortunate that my parents exposed me to that when I was young. I did my first professional gig at the age of 14 on a Thanksgiving evening downtown at the Red Lion Cabaret. I made $11. It was a great evening. Nobody came. I was terrible, but made 11 bucks. Playing music was just all I ever wanted to do. And the road of playing acoustic music was set out for me by the heroes that I had to go hear in my young years. And I never knew that other towns around the country didn't have that acoustic music scene. The road that I followed was the road that they had paved for me as artists. And I never knew that it was the road least traveled until I started touring myself. I learned a lot of other people's songs when I went to school here, because I played for folk mass every week, and I learned a lot of Bob Dylan songs, a lot of Tom Paxton songs for folk mass. The nuns were very involved in the anti-war movement, and so we played a lot of folk mass songs that got on our side, Times They Are Changing, type of songs in folk mass, and I learned a lot. It was much like my parents who were involved in the civil rights movement. I thought this was normal for everyone, everywhere, that to be involved in such things, because I had it in childhood through my parents, being involved in the civil rights movement, and then in my high school years through the nuns in my high school. So I just thought that everybody did that exercised their right of freedom of speech and the right to protest. And I learned most of my greatest lessons of life here on this campus. Austin, Texas is my hometown. I'm a rarity because Austin is a mecca for the music industry, and people migrate here and musicians move here from all over the world, but it is actually my hometown.
There's something very basically Texas about her voice that really strikes a chord in my own heart.
We love her albums. We listen to them every day, in the car, at home.
First time I ever saw her was on the night of an eclipse of a full moon. She was playing in a little place called You Scream Ice Cream here, which is an ice cream store and beer joint and a converted 7-Eleven store when she was just getting started. And we all went out and hung out in the parking lot and watched the eclipse of the full moon.
When I used to live in Montana, and my boyfriend lived in Seattle, and I had to drive 7 hours every weekend to see him, and I would listen to that song when I got lonely on the road, and Nanci pulled me through, and she was talking about character of Caroline pulling her through last night in Hard Times, but she's the one that pulled me through.
You know, you'd say, oh, we're going to go see some folk music. They wouldn't think twice about it. But if you can get them to sit down and listen to it, a lot of people really, I think, really enjoy it. There's real sincerity to her stuff.
Well, the folk songs, I don't know, they just take you back somewhere that you didn't know you needed to go till you get there.
Nanci Griffith was good to me and played songs for me before I was governor and before she was famous. This is her last performance before she starts on her world tour and doing the European leg of it. And I know that they're going to know that you can take the girl out of Texas, but you can't take the Texas out of the girl. Nanci Griffith!
The Governor of the great state of Texas, Ann Richards.
We're going to start out this show in a celebration of my new album of folk songs by songwriters who inspired me to become a songwriter with one of my own songs that we know well, and then we'll move into all this material that we don't know so well later on in the evening when it won't bother anybody too much. Thank y'all for being here.
Bankers swarm like locusts out there, turning away I yield. The trains roll by our side, lost silver in the lane. They leave our pockets full of nothing but our dreams in a golden grain. Have you seen the folks in the liner downtown at the station? They're all buying their tickets out and they're talking the Great Depression. Our parents had their hard times 50 years ago, when they stood out in these empty fields and dust with deep in snow. And all this trouble in our fields, this rain can fall, these wounds can heal. They'll never take our native soil. But if we sell that new John Deere, we work these crops with sweat and tears, and you be the mule, I'll be the plow. Harvest time, we'll work it out. There's still a lot of love here in these troubled fields. There's a book up on the shelf about those dust bowl days, and there's a little bit of you and a little bit of me in the photos on every page. Our children live in the city and they rest upon our shoulders. They never want this rain to fall or the weather to get colder. All this trouble in our fields, if this rain can fall, these wounds can heal. They'll never take our native soil. But if we sell that new John Deere, then we work these crops with sweat and tears, and you'd be the mule, I'll be the plow. Come harvest time, we'll work it out. There's still a lot of love here in these troubled fields. And you'd be the mule, I'll be the plow. Come harvest time, we'll work it out. There's still a lot of love here in these troubled fields. Thank you.
This song was written by a woman who inspired a lot of people to become a songwriter. And when she passed away in 1986, so prematurely, we all just missed her dearly in it. And this last New Year's Eve, sitting and speaking with Emmylou Harris about her music inspired me to go ahead and make this album and make her song the song that started off this album project. And it's a great honor this evening to have Emmylou Harris come out and join us.
And to have two guitar players who both played with Kate Wolf, Pete Kennedy over here on the acoustic guitar, as well as the guitar player who played all of those beautiful guitar licks that you've heard on Kate's records over the years. Miss Nina Gerber, come join us. Kate walks across the Great Divide. I've been walking in my sleep, counting troubles instead of counting sheep. Where the years went, I can't say. I just turn around and they're gone away. And I've been sifting through dusty books and faded faith. They tell stories I used to know, and it was one that happened so long ago. And it's gone away yesterday. Now I find myself on the mountainside, where the rivers change direction across the Great Divide. Now I heard how the morning softly ends, the night was full with a question, and I replied, but he's moved across the border now. He's gone away yesterday. Now I find myself on the mountainside, where the rivers change direction across the Great Divide. Is the one that comes between the edge of night and the break of day. It's when the darkness rolls away, and it's gone away yesterday. Now I find myself on the mountain, where the rivers change direction across the Great Divide. And it's gone away yesterday. Now I find myself on the mountainside. It's where the rivers change direction across the Great Divide.
I never met Kate, but I loved her music. I always thought one day we would meet, you know, and I had not heard that particular song of hers. There were some others of hers that were favorites of mine. And the song just had an immediate effect on me. It was very special, very beautiful, everything about it. And it's one of those songs that comes along and makes you realize that you're really glad that you're in music.
This is the oldest song on the new album of folk songs, and it was written in 1877. And it's a song, it's in a woman's voice, from a woman's heart. And I was amazed to find out that it had been written in 1877 by two gentlemen. And one of them's name was G.P. Cook, and the other one's name was Ralph Roland. And it's such a sensitive song. And but the mystery of how two men in 1877 wrote this song, really, it was a mystery while we were in the studio. We all discussed it, Carolyn Hester, Arlo Guthrie, Chet Atkins, Emmylou Harris. We were all sitting around discussing how could this have happened over 100 years, this woman's song, this woman's voice coming out of two men. And Arlo said he had the answer for it. And I expected a great Arlo Guthrie cosmic answer, because if you ever needed a correct cosmic answer, you could call Arlo up and he'd give it to you. He'd have it right there in front of you. But instead of that great cosmic answer, Arlo just said, Nanci, it took two of them. It took two of them to write that song. But Emmy came in and she sang Sarah's lower part. And Iris DeMint came in and sang Maybelle's high part, and it was great fun. And we made Iris sing the high part because she's the new kid on the block, and nobody likes to sing a high part, and we made Iris sing it. So, and tonight, I'm Chet. So, are you tired of me, darling? Are you tired of me, my darling? Did you mean those words you said that made me yours forever? Since the day when we were wed, and tell me, would you live life over? Would you make another wife? Are you tired of me, my darling? Answer me with your eyes. Do you ever rue the springtime when we first each other met? How we spoke in warm affection, words my heart can never forget. And tell me, would you live life over? Would you make another wife? Are you tired of me, my darling? Answer me with your eyes. You think the bloom's departed from the cheeks you got so thin? Do you think I've grown cold-hearted beneath the load of woman's cares? And tell me, would you live life over? Would you make another wife? Are you tired of me with your eyes, and tell me, would you live life over? Would you make another wife? Are you tired of me, my darling? Answer me with your eyes.
Trying to be a singer and songwriter, and I had just started out, and he gave me a tape that he made of this person, Nanci Griffith, and so I listened to that, and I liked it a lot. It seemed like the more I listened to it, the more I liked it, and then I got to where I liked it so much I couldn't turn it off. And then maybe a few months after that, she came to a theater in Kansas City, and I went to go see her. Unfortunately, I left the show a little discouraged because I thought, man, I could just never. I couldn't even imagine myself getting in front of a room full of a handful of people and the things that she was doing. And she had like an hour and a half of these great songs, and throughout the years, I would say that her music has continued to encourage me.
Come home late and you come home early. You come home big when you're feeling small. You come home straight and you come home curly. Sometimes you don't come home at all. So what in the world's come over? What in heaven's name have you done? You've broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on a run. I got a heart that burns to the feet, and I got a worried and a jealous mind. How can a love that'll last forever I get left so far behind? So what in the world's come over? What in heaven's name have you done? Broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. Out there running just to be on a run. It's a mighty mean and dreadful sight. It's crossed the evil line within. But how can you ask about tonight? We ain't got one word to say. What in the world's come on? What in heaven's name have you done? Broken the speed and the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on a ride. What in the world's come over? What in heaven's name have you done? Broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on a ride. You're out there running just to be on a ride. You're out there running just to be on a ride. This next
next song was written by a gentleman who is right here on this stage, and he's one of my oldest and dearest friends who brings a little piece of Manhattan with him everywhere he goes. He's a fine singer-songwriter and great guitar player, and we're proud to have him out on tour with us. I first heard this song of his about 8 years ago, and we were down in the Yucatan, and he played this song for me in the morning on the beach, and we watched the waves crashing in, and loved this song. It was a great song. And later on that afternoon, we rented a motorcycle, and we were just riding around on this motorcycle. It was 150 bajillion degrees outside, and I fell off the back of it. And as I watched him disappear into the horizon, I always thought I would record this song.
Yes, we did sit on the beach, and yes, I did play the song for the first time for her. And yes, she did like it, and yes, we did rent, well, she calls them motorcycles, but I mean, they were like 50cc mopeds, and no, she did not fall off the back of it.
Mr. Frank Christian back here on the guitar. And 3 flights up.
We returned to that 5-room flat. Now it is empty, and this the last time they were making pictures of how we'd sit and chat. Some of them are scattered and shattered in my mind. It was always 3 flights up. People about the time. In the winter, it chattered and cold, while the building shook like ragweed in the wind. Stories from the heat pipes were told. Now they only leave me with a half enchanted grin. It was always 3 flights deep about that time. Bicycles squeeze down alleyways into view, and towels warmed on oven doors to not freeze was the only thing to do. And I wonder if we cared for the fair warning. I can see it in the flowers dying on a windowsill. No, we must be every tomorrow morning. But am I going against my will? It was always 3 blocks deep about stuff. Bicycle squeeze down alleyways into view, and towels warmed on oven doors to not freeze was the only thing to do. And I wonder if we took to the fair warning. I can see it in the flowers dying on a windowsill. No, we must be every tomorrow morning. But am I going against my will? It was always 3 flights deep bells kept time. It was always 3 flights deep bells kept time. Oh, oh.
I started thinking of doing this album years ago, just simply because the music industry had treated folk music so badly for the past 20 years, and I felt like it had been a major influence upon myself and many artists. And that just became the fire that shot this album into a project in full-blown production. And going to Jim Rooney and saying, hey, I would really like to do this tribute album to the songwriters who have influenced me and get this music heard.
We feel it's important, it's part of our thing, is to pass this on to a new generation of artists and an audience as well.
Well, Jerry Jeff Walker's song, Morning Song for Sally, is a song that I think is every bit as special as Mr. Bojangles or many of the other songs that Jerry Jeff wrote in those early years, and just deserved to be passed on. It had been overlooked. He had quit singing the song, and I loved that song. I would pull that album out of my shelf just to listen to Morning Song for Sally.
I'd played it for a while, and then I'd kind of forgotten it. When Nanci sang an album of a lot of old songs that she'd liked, and she was doing that song, it kind of made me listen to it again. And hearing her play it gave me a fresh approach to the song, and it's been like finding a new song again. Thanks, Nance.
Night Rider's Lament is another song that I learned from Jerry Jeff Walker, though Michael Burton actually wrote the song. But it's the definitive campfire song, cowboy song. And when we recorded the album, we brought in Don Edwards to do the yodel.
As far as I know, Jerry Jeff was the first guy to ever do the song. And then it just sort of, the rest is history kind of thing, you know. But it has become, in cowboy music, it's become one of the most popular songs. In fact, I consider it a, you know, modern day classic, like the great old ballads of the, you know, the last century, you know. Of course, if you hadn't told somebody it was written in 1975 or 6, you know, you'd think that thing was written in 1876, you know.
We did the song live in Dallas last week, and when Don Edwards started yodeling, people in the audience came to their feet. It stopped the show completely, and it was almost like the national anthem. We expected their hand to go up over their heart.
Well, Nanci's always been musical from the time she was about 2 years old. She's been musical.
She hears things. Oh, she's got the hearing of a bat. You know, and the looks of an angel, I might add. But, you know, you can sit there and you can be playing all nice, and one little clunker, and she turn around and go. She never jumps on you, but she always gives you the...
She used to perform the little kid songs and things like that for my grandmother, standing on an aluminum tub that they turned upside down on the patio at the house. And grandmother would just applaud, and Nanci would do her thing, and it was just great.
They don't need to know about that, really, do they?
Oh, she loves to write. She used to write poetry. She wrote her first song. I guess she was maybe about 12 when she put her first song to music with the guitar. It was called A New Generation.
I met Carolyn Hester for the first time when I was about 10 years old, and I had been eating cotton candy, and I had it just literally all over me. And my dad had warned me as we were moving through the line several times. He kept saying, do not touch Carolyn Hester because you'll get cotton candy on her. And so by the time I got to the front of the line, I was so nervous about meeting this childhood idol, my hero, my vocal mentor, you know, that I was crying because I was so afraid something would happen. She would shake my hand, and then, you know, I'd be in trouble with my dad because I got cotton candy on Carolyn Hester after he told me not to touch her, you know.
I met Nanci umpteen years ago when she was 8 years old, about this time of year here in Austin. And her daddy, Griffith, came up, and they had my album, and I remember her very well. You know, and it's amazing to me. I meet a lot of people and forget, but I did remember that because they had my record, I guess, and it was a Columbia record, and I signed it. And I think back on that day a lot of times and think about how 10 years ago Nanci and I went, it was like maybe the first time she went north of the Mason-Dixon line with her guitar, and the only place that would hire us, because she was new and I'd been out of the business for 10 years, the only place that would hire us was Folk City.
Midge and I, my wife, had come to hear Carolyn Hester play at Gertie's Folk City about 10, 11 years ago. And it was the tour in which she took Nanci with her, kind of introducing her around the circuit, as they say. And we got there late, so we missed Nanci's set. Carolyn was on stage, and she saw us come in. And about 2/3 of the way through her set, she invited me to come on, up and sing Can't Help But Wonder Where I'm Bound with her. Now, she had learned the song from me. She had recorded it a few times, done it in a commercial. And so I came up to sing the song with her, and Nanci joined us as well. And just kind of, how do you do? Nice to meet you, as you're getting in front of a microphone. And I still hadn't heard her sing. And Carolyn sang the first verse, and we all came in on the chorus. So the first time I heard Nanci sing was from about 2 feet away. She about blew me off the stage. I said, this is some voice.
Well, it's a long and dusty road. It's a high, heavy load. Folks I meet ain't always kind. Some are bad and some are good. Some have done the best they could. Some have tried to ease my troubled mind. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. I can't help but wonder where I'm bound. I've been wandering around this land, just doing the best I can, trying to find what I was meant to do. And the people that I see look as worried as can be, and it looks like they are wandering too. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. I can't help but wonder where I'm bound.
Oh, I had a little gal one time. She had lips like sherry wine. Loved me till my head went plumb insane. But I was too blind to see she was drifting away from me. My good gal went off on the morning train. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound.
Started out to roam. Here he's out by the Frisco Bay. And sometimes when I've had a few, his old voice comes ringing through. And I'm going out to see him someday. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. I can't help but wonder where I'm bound. Well, if you see me passing by, and you said you wonder why, and you wish that you were a rambler too, lay your shoes to the kitchen floor, lace them up and bar the door. Thank your stars for the roof that's over you. 'Cause I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound. 'Cause I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. I can't help but wonder where I'm bound. Thank you.
Now I'd like to bring out the quintessential hero. Jerry Jeff, will you come join me?
Thank you. We're going to do morning song.
Love to.
Thank you for picking it up.
It's always been my fave.
As the morning light stretched across my bed, thought of you. Remembering your laughing eyes and always said, I love you too. as all my thoughts of you pass for my face 1,000 times. The way they race my heart, I cannot say it all in line. Short time together lasts so long, makes me strong. As 2 weeks came and went, and you and I were gone, living on. For it seems our love was destined to be caught in other nets. But the love we held so brief, I'd chance again without regret. Yes, we're standing by the road, it's been my song before, much too long. But now somehow I'm forced to see me there once more. That's the song. And my waking thoughts of you are just extensions of my dream. Without you here beside me, I'll never know all that they mean. So as the morning light stretched in across my bed, thought of you. Remembering your laughing eyes and always said, I love you too. And as all my thoughts of you pass for my face 1,000 times, the way they race my heart, I cannot say it all in lines.
Jerry Jeff Walker.
This is the definitive campfire folk song. It was written by a gentleman named Michael Burton, and we'd like to invite out onto the stage a gentleman who came and joined us in the studio when we made this album, the finest cowboy singer and yodeler in the world. Mr. Don Edwards, come join us. Michael Burton's song, The Night Rider's Lament.
As I was out a ride, the graveyard shift midnight till dawn. The moon was bright as a reading light for a letter from an old friend back home. And he asked me, why do you ride for your money? And why do you hope for sure things? You ain't getting nowhere and you're losing your share. Oh, you must have gone crazy out there. He said last night I ran into Jenny. Well, they've married and have a good life. Oh, you sure missed the track when you never came back. They made the perfect professional life. But she asked me, why do you ride for your money? And why do you rope for short pay? You ain't getting nowhere and you're losing your share. Oh, you must have gone crazy out there. But they've never seen the northern lights. They've never seen a hawk on the wing. They've never seen the spring hit the great divide. And they never heard old Camp Cookie sing. Well, I read up the last of my letter and I tore off the stamp for Black Jim. Well, little Dougie rode up to relieve me. He just looked at my letter and grinned. And he asked me, why do they ride for the money? Why do they rope for short pay? They ain't getting nowhere and they're losing their share. Oh, they all must be crazy out there, 'cause they've never seen the northern lights. They've never seen a hawk on the wing. They've never seen the spring hit the great divide. They never heard old Camp Cookie sing. Tell him, Cookie. Mr. Don Edwards.
My middle name is Caroline, and this is a song of Townes Van Zant's about a woman named Caroline. And I first heard this song when I was about 14 years old, and I always had this real endearment to this character that Townes Van Zandt had written about named Caroline. And when I left home, I carried that character of Caroline around in my heart, and she was like my guardian angel for me. And I've always owed Townes Van Zandt a great debt for just keeping me alive sometimes, keeping me from falling, because I always had that character of his, of Caroline, to lean on. She was there beside me everywhere I went. And we all knew characters like Caroline when we were young girls, and they were all reasons for us to keep our spines straight and our chins high. So to Townes Van Zandt, thank you very much. God bless Caroline. The name she gave was Caroline, the daughter of a miner, and her ways were free
And it seemed to me the sunshine walked beside her. She came from Spencer across the hill. She said her pocket's empty, 'cause the gold was low. Soon the snow would turn their skies to winter. She said she'd come to look for work, and she was not seeking favor for a dime a day and a place to stay. She turned those hands to labor. The times were hard, Lord, and the jobs were few all through Tecumseh Valley. So she asked around, and a job she found tending bar, Gypsy Sally. And she saved enough to get back home in spring, replace the winter. But her dreams were denied, her Paul had died. The word coming down from Spencer. So she turned her heart out on the streets with all the lust inside her. And it was many a man returned again to lay himself beside her. Found her down beneath the stairs that led to Gypsy Sally. In her hand when she died was an old that cried fairly well, Tecumseh Valley. Name she gave was Caroline, the daughter of a man, and her ways were free, and it seemed to me the sunshine walked beside her.
I like every single cover ever that I've ever heard. It can be by 3-year-olds who can't talk yet, or it can be winos who can't talk anymore. If it's a cover of mine, I tend to like it. But that's the best cover of any of my songs ever.
I think she opened the doors for a lot of us, for me, for for Lyle Lovett for a lot of us. And Nanci then kind of disappeared for a while, and the next thing I knew, here she was coming from Nashville with a national name.
Tonight I think I'm gonna go downtown. Tonight I think I'm gonna look around for something I couldn't see when this world was more real to me. Yeah, tonight I think I'm gonna go downtown. My love has gone away. My love, what can I say? My love would never see this world's just not real to me. And tonight, I think I'm gonna go downtown. I told my love 1,000 times that I can't say what's on my mind, but she would never see that this world's just not real to me. And tonight, I think I'm gonna go downtown. Tonight I think I'm gonna go downtown. Tonight I think I'm gonna look around for something I couldn't see when this world was more real to me. Yeah, tonight I think I'm gonna go downtown. Tonight I think I'm gonna go downtown.
Jimmy Gilmore.
This next song is Come Home. Really Come Home. It's from my Little Love Affairs album. When we started out on this tour, we wanted to try to find some of the older songs that people have been asking for a long time, and we've never taken out on the road. This one showed up at the bus with his bags in hand. Ready to go.
My daddy sent me back to Baton Rouge in 1969. He said our love was like a forest fire and it ended with the mines. So you rode with us to Temple, Texas, where I did catch the train. And I remember waving back at you through a silted window pane. And I said, fare thee well, true love of mine. And I said, fare thee well, sweet lips of wine. You said, fare thee well, my Texas rose. And when you blew a kiss and then were long ago. You'd gone off to fight the war when I returned from school, and I traded in my innocence when the springtime came to bloom, and I married for my family one night a dream of you. You were running from me and the rain down on Congress Avenue, and I said, fare thee well, true love of mine. And I said, fare thee well, sweet lips of wine. You said, fare thee well, my Texas roar. And when you blew a kiss of innocence as the chains began to roll, long ago. Saw you once in a crowded bar, and it was Christmas time. I was frightened by the thunder of our hearts in '69. 'Cause I live my life in whispers now, and I choose to live alone. So I slip back to the avenue, flip my collar through the cold, and I say, fare thee well, true love of mine. And I said, fare thee well, sweet lips of wine. You said, fare thee well, my Texas roll. And then you blew a kiss of innocence as the chains began to roll. Long ago. Where did we go? We were long ago. So long ago.
Thank you. It means a lot to my parents to hear the song Weemaway come back around, because I wasn't even born when that song was recorded by the Weavers. So for my parents to hear me singing Weemaway, which was a very important song for them, is great. You know, they're very excited about it, especially my dad, and sings Weemaway. He recorded it with us. And it's very exciting for him to get to be Pete Seeger for, 2.5 minutes on stage. It's great to sing that song with him. And Odetta, who my father played for me when I was a child, to see them standing next to each other on stage is incredible.
I am fascinated with the focus and the energy of the woman. It is indeed an honor for me that she has included me in her life. She is working with people that I have not seen for years, and so it has been, since the Carnegie Hall and here in Austin, a time of communion. So the old ones were there for the young ones, and the young ones are there to teach the old ones.
I just think it's really important that because of our father's love for folk music and the revival of his young adolescent years with the Weavers and Odetta, that was passed on to us. And my sister found her own folk revival in the 60s, and she passed it on to me. And I hope that I'm passing on the tradition of folk music and the great art of storytelling and capturing social times within music for the next of us, because every generation, I think, deserves to have its own folk revival.
Children are the next of us, and they're the best of us. Martin Luther King Jr. taught us that there are no bad babies in this world, that every child is born good, that evil and violence and racism are taught behavior. And it's a hard life wherever you go.
I am a backseat driver from America. We drive to the left on Falls Road, and the man who wheels named Seamus. We pass the child on the corner of the road, and Seamus says, "No, what chance is there to get God?" And I say from the back, "I don't know." He says there's barbed wire at all of these exits, and there ain't no place in Belfast for that child to go. 'Cause it's a hard life, it's a hard life, it's a very hard life. It's a hard life wherever you go. And if we poison our children with hatred, then a hard life is all that they'll know. And there ain't no place in Belfast for that child. A cafeteria line in Chicago, with that man in front of me is calling black people trash to his children, and he's the only trash here I see. And I'm thinking this man wears a white coat in the night when his children should sleep. But they'll slip through their windows and Nancy Hannah, and they'll think that white coat's all they need. 'Cause it's a hard life, it's a hard life, it's a very hard life. It's a hard life wherever you go. And if we poison our children with hatred, then a hard life is all that they'll know. And there ain't no place in Chicago for those kids to go. I was a child in the 60s when dreams could be held through TV. We had Disney, Crockett, Marx, and Luther, and I believed. Now I am the backseat driver from America, and I am not at the wheel of control. And I am guilty, I am worn, I have been the root of all evil, Lord, and I can't drive on the left side of the road. 'Cause it's a hard life, it's a hard life, it's a very hard life. It's a hard life wherever you go. And we poison our children with hatred, then a hard life is all that they'll know. And there'll be no place on this earth for our kids to go, 'cause we've made it a hard life wherever they go. We love you, Austin. Ring and reel will carry things away, whether it's me that does the leaving or the love that flies away. And the moon outside my window looks so lucky tonight. There is a chunk out of its middle. It's big enough for an old fool. Where are the dreamers that I used to know? We used to linger beneath street lamps with our halos in the smoke. Then the wing and the wheel came to carry them away. Now they all live out in the suburbs, where their dreams are in their children at play. Pale sky in the east, all the stars are in the west. Here's to all the dreamers, may our open hearts find rest. 'Cause the wing and the wheel, they're gonna carry us along, and we'll have memories for company. It'll be long after the song sun. Yeah, it's so long now. Come home late and you come home early. You come home big when you're feeling small. You come home straight and you come home curly. Sometimes you don't come home at all. So what in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? You've broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. Well, I got a heart that burns with a fever, and I got a worried and a jealous mind. How can a love that'll last forever I get left so far behind? So what in the world's come over you? Or what in heaven's name have you done? You've broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. It's mighty mean and a dreadful sorrow. It's crossed the evil line today. How can you ask about tomorrow? We ain't got one word to say. So what in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? You've broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. So what in the world's come over you? And what in heaven's name have you done? Broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. You're out there running just to be on the run. You're out there running just to be on the run.